After living in two quite dark years through the pandemic, we are now seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. But where are we heading next? The Philippine STAR marks its 36th anniversary with its two-part special issue called The Next Page, imagining the possibilities ahead and discussing what's next as we move towards the end of the pandemic. In the first of the two-part series, the Philippine STAR puts the spotlight on industry leaders and visionaries who rallied their teams through struggles and triumphs while confronting one of the biggest threats in the world. As we inch away from restrictions, invited businessmen and leaders recall the adversities they went through.
Well, for startup, it's always very hard. I think it's harder during the pandemic because, in a way, if you are a startup, you ride on the small successes and your early customer base.
2020, we were closed for 5 months, and then in 2021, we were closed for 5 months, and then we tried to maintain our salaries, help our people, so it was very hard.
Well, during the pandemic, a lot of people thought Grab thrived and that we didn't experience any challenges during the course of the pandemic, but actually that's not true. Our four-wheel business during that time was shut down. If you remember, like all means of transport were temporarily shut down during the pandemic, and that was very tough for us.
Very tough for AirAsia. As a matter of fact, for almost like 3 to 4 months, that's March till June, there was zero commercial flights.
Nung nahinto na yung cinema, nahinto na yung live entertainment because of the pandemic. So, sabi namin na it's high time to really focus on the digital business.
But after breakthroughs, what is the next page for them?
There was a lot of people who learned about TikTok during the pandemic. So we've seen a lot of these new innovations that we've rolled out recently. There's one called the Digital Literacy Hub, wherein people now have access to a dedicated microsite, and they can learn how, number one, to protect themselves online as a digital user. So there's a lot of talk now about misinformation, a lot of fake news floating around. The Digital Literacy Hub is one way by which they can refer to so that they are not easily misled.
The next page for Lalamove as the leading on-demand delivery platform in the country is to continue our mission of empowering communities by establishing wider and more reliable delivery services.
Actually, the commitment of SM Prime Holdings is to use clean energy, 50% or at least 50% clean energy by the end of this year.
The next page for Bello Medical Group is to just expand. We want to expand, of course, Bello Essentials to be, in the States, we finally got FDA approval in the US, and we're going to invade that market. Feeding ko Bello all over the world. What's it right? Bello Domination. Bello World Domination. Yun. That's my next page.
Their hardships and victories show the resiliency of Filipinos in times of crisis. As we faced the new normal, the pre-pandemic struggle recurred. For others, going on with their daily lives comes off to be the way to move forward instead of dreaming of higher possibilities for the future. For the second half of its anniversary special, the Philippine STAR challenges us to step ahead, rethink, and ask, what if? A collection where thinkers and opinion makers answer our questions about making our cities more commuter-friendly, maintaining a public library in every town and city, or nurturing a world that is genderless, even turning our roofs into gardens, as well as taxing the rich.
In a city where mobility is successful, what I'd like to imagine is you able to step out of your house, there being a sidewalk wide enough for you to walk side by side with your family or your friends. A city where you can say that if I leave by a certain hour, I'll make it by a certain hour to my destination. A city where you can enjoy your travel as much as your destination. A city that empowers us to take advantage of the many opportunities that cities offer without mobility getting in the way. There's a better version of your life than what it is today.
The government has to step in here and have the will to create libraries where they are most needed. Let me emphasize this. The library of the present has to be connected through the internet to the world outside.
I hope we can be in that situation again in which anyone, regardless of gender, can be a leader and make a difference.
So yung mga dating open spaces na nawawala na, and of course, the only way we can replace that is to put the greenery on top of the roof. To all buildings that have green roofs, bababa yung gastos nyo sa aircon. Your use of energy will go down.
Importante kasi na magkaroon ng additional revenues yung government in order to manage the debt and the deficit. Sino pa bang segment ng society natin yung pwede nating i-tax? Of course, it would be the super rich.
Without a doubt, the Philippine STAR's 36th anniversary special allowed us to reflect and imagine the next page, not just of the Philippines, but of what the world can be beyond the pandemic.
Well, nowadays, of course, homeowners are looking for perfect location, flexibility in terms of terms, and also space.